Welcome to this special presentation of Waterloo Columbus Softball on the Fan. This broadcast of Sailor Softball is brought to you by Electronic Engineering, Air Services, Community Buick GMC, CBFS Financial Strategies, and the Waterloo Columbus Booster Club. Now let's go live to the diamond with play-by-play broadcaster David Warrington.
Columbus Softball from Columbus Catholic High School in Waterloo. I'm David Warrington, and tonight on 1650 The Fan, we'll have a varsity softball matchup between the visiting Aplington-Parkersburg Falcons and the host, the 12th-ranked Waterloo Columbus Sailors. The Falcons come into tonight's matchup with a record of 0-9 so far this year. They were swept by Hudson in a doubleheader on Monday, losing 3-2 and 12-2, but nearly upset a very good Sumner Fredericksburg team on Tuesday, losing 1-0. This is a very young Falcon ball club with only 2 upperclassmen as well as 7 8th graders listed on the roster. The 2A 12th-ranked Sailors committed this game with a record of 10-4 on the year. They swept a doubleheader from Denver on Monday, 2 games you heard right here on the Fan, but lost a tight ball game to a very good Grundy Center team last night by a final of 1-0. These teams met up for a doubleheader in Parkersburg back on May 31st, and it was a dominant night for the Sailors, sweeping the Falcons by scores of 15-5 and 9-1. We're going to take a quick break and hear from some of our great sponsors. When we come back, we'll take a look at tonight's starting lineups and get you everything you need to know ahead of the first pitch. Stay tuned. You're listening to Waterloo Columbus Softball pregame show on 1650 The Fan. Welcome back to the Waterloo Columbus Softball pregame show here on 1650 The Fan. Aplington-Parkersburg in town to take on the hosts, the Waterloo Columbus Sailors, for an NICL matchup here tonight. Let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's ball game. First for the Falcons, they will lead off with Eva Walker. Walker will be doing the catching. She's an 8th grader, batting .200 this year with 2 RBIs, a double, and 7 strikeouts. Libby Jansen will bat second and play second base. Jansen is the lone senior on this Falcon ball club, batting .118 this season with 2 RBIs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Ada Switzer bats third. She'll be doing the pitching tonight. Switzer is a freshman, batting .471. That's best on the team. 2 RBIs, 3 doubles as well. That also leads the team. So far this year, she's pitched 16 2/3 innings, 0-2 with an ERA of 8.82, 13 strikeouts, and 11 walks. Jordan Trueblood bats fourth. She'll be playing left field. Trueblood, a freshman, batting .222 with 2 RBIs and 2 doubles. Megan Bruns batting fifth and playing first base for the Falcons. 8th grader is batting .364 with 2 RBIs and a team best 4 walks. Kendall Ryard bats sixth. She'll be playing shortstop here tonight. Ryard, wearing number 22, is a sophomore, batting .125 with an RBI. Addison Williamson will bat in the 7th spot and play center field. Williamson, a junior, batting 0 for 6 so far this season. 1 walk and 4 strikeouts. Batting 8th and playing third base is Avery Freund. Freund is a freshman, batting .133, 2 RBIs, and the lone Falcon home run so far this year. And batting 9th, getting the start in right field for AP, will be Lauren Carney. Carney, a sophomore, batting .182 with 3 walks and 4 strikeouts. And now taking a look at the starting lineup for the Sailors of Waterloo Columbus, the hosts here tonight. Fairly familiar lineup, but the positions are somewhat switched up from their usual go-to. They will lead off with Cameron Reginald. She'll play center field. Reginald, a junior, batting .213, 8 RBIs, 2 doubles, and one of the 2 triples this ball club has hit so far this year. Batting second and getting the start at shortstop is going to be Haley Frost. Frost, a junior, batting .390, 11 RBIs, 4 doubles, and a home run. She's also been walked a team-high 9 times. Batting third and doing the catching for Waterloo Columbus will be Katie Rudin. Rudin, a junior, batting a team-high .450, 13 RBIs, 3 doubles, and a home run. Batting fourth and playing third base is Nia Simmons. Simmons is also a junior, batting .405, 16 RBIs, 4 doubles, and a triple on the season. Batting fifth, getting the start over in right field, is going to be Sydney Gardner. Gardner's another member of that junior class, batting .381, 8 RBIs, and a home run so far on the year. Batting sixth, getting the start at second base, is going to be Avery Hogan. Hogan, a junior, batting .440, second highest batting average on the club. 4 RBIs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. Batting seventh, getting the start at first base, is Ella Smith. Smith is a junior as well, batting .310 with a team best 19 runs batted in, 2 doubles, has been walked twice, and has struck out 7 times. Batting eighth and getting the start in the circle tonight for Waterloo Columbus is Micah Bromley. The freshman is batting .256 this year, 7 RBIs, 3 doubles, a walk, and 9 strikeouts. It's just her second start in the circle. She's gone 7 2/3 innings this year. 1-0 with a 5.48 ERA, 7 strikeouts, and 5 walks. And bringing up the rear for Columbus, batting ninth and playing left field is going to be Madison Rudin. Rudin's also a freshman. She's batting .172 this year with an RBI, 7 walks, and a team high 13 strikeouts. So there's a look at tonight's starting lineups. Starters about to be announced over the PA system here in Waterloo. Again, Aplington-Parkersburg, the visitors, as Waterloo Columbus plays host tonight. Of course, have to give a shout out to all of our great sponsors that make tonight's broadcast possible and all the broadcasts throughout the season. Have to give a big thank you to Community Buick GMC, Electronic Engineering, Air Services, CDFS Financial Strategies, and the Waterloo Columbus Booster Club. Could not bring you these broadcasts of Columbus baseball and softball this summer without their great support. So, of course, a huge thank you to them for all they do for Columbus athletics and the community in general. Looking at the history of this series between AP and Waterloo Columbus, since 2014, these teams have matched up 19 times. It's been a clean sweep for the Sailors. They lead the series 19-0 in that time, and it hasn't been particularly close in any of the matchups. The closest matchup was a 10-3 Sailor win back on June 26th of 2019. There's also some bad blood in this series, as last year Waterloo Columbus ended the Falcons season in a regional quarterfinal here in Waterloo by a final of 12-0. As I said, these two teams have played so far this season. They played a doubleheader in Parkersburg back in May. It was a sweep for the Sailors, 15-5 and 9-1. AP is coming off of a 2-19 season last year. They failed to get a victory in the North Iowa Cedar League East. They went 0-16 in the conference, finishing in last at 9th place. And as I said, their season ended back on July 7th to a regional quarterfinal matchup here in Waterloo against the Sailors, where they were blanked, losing it by a final of 12-0. Sailors are much better last season. They went 28-10, 13-3 in the North Iowa Cedar League East. That was good enough for a runner-up finish. And then on July 9th, in the 2A regional semifinal, they lost to South Hardin by a final of 9-6, ending the Sailors season a couple games away from the state tournament. AP has yet to win a ball game on this season. They come with a record of 0 wins and 9 losses. But like I touched on, they came very close just a couple nights ago. Back on Tuesday, they lost to a very good Sumner Fredericksburg team by a final score of 1-0. Waterloo Columbus comes in with a record of 10 wins and 4 losses on the season. So far this season, they've looked very good. They did lose a game to a good Grundy Center team last night in a pitcher's duel by a final of 1-0. So they'll look to get back in the winners column here tonight. Aplington-Parkersburg and Waterloo Columbus coming up shortly right here on 1650 The Fan. Excited to bring you a good ball game between two teams very familiar with one another. I mentioned AP had their season ended last year in softball. AP also had their football season ended here in Waterloo by the Sailors. So certainly no love lost between these two ball clubs. Looking forward to a good one here tonight. Can't wait to bring it to you. We're going to take one more break. We'll have first pitch when we come back. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Waterloo Columbus Softball pregame show on 1650 The Fan. Welcome back to Waterloo Columbus Softball here on 1650 The Fan. I'm David Warrington, and we've got a good matchup on our hands tonight as Waterloo Columbus plays host to the Falcons of Aplington-Parkersburg. Sailors just taking the field now, and we're going to get underway here in just a few moments. Micah Bromley getting the start in the circle for the Sailors here tonight. The freshman making just her second start of the season. So far, she's pitched 7 2/3 innings. She's 1-0. ERA is at 5.48. Let's take a look at the lineup in the field for the Sailors. Left to right in the outfield goes Rudin, Reginald, and Gardner. It'll be Smith at first base. Hogan's playing second base. Simmons is at third base. Haley Frost getting the start at shortstop. Katie Rudin playing behind the plate and doing the catching. And as I said, Micah Bromley, the freshman, getting the start in the circle here tonight for Waterloo Columbus. Aplington-Parkersburg will lead off with their catcher, Eva Walker. She'll be followed up by the second baseman, Libby Jansen, and then batting third will be the pitcher. That is Ada Switzer. It's a very young Falcon ball club. Just one senior and one junior on this team, and a total of 7 8th graders that haven't even began their high school academic careers yet. So it definitely will be interesting to see how all those young players fare here this evening. Final warm-up pitch has been thrown. Rudin throws down to second base, and we're just about set to get underway between the Falcons and the Sailors here tonight from Columbus Catholic High School. Sailors wearing all black as per usual here at home. The Falcons wearing gray jerseys with red trim on the shoulders. Black Falcon logo on the shoulders as well. Red numerals, red pants with white socks. We're going to get the ball game underway as stepping in is Eva Walker batting from the left side. Bromley, the right-handed thrower, gets set to go. Here's the first pitch. That one misses high, and we're underway at 6:57 p.m. 1 ball, no strikes for Eva Walker. Walker, an 8th grader, batting .200 entering play. 3 hits and 15 at-bats. Has 2 RBIs with 1 double. Watches the second pitch, and it misses low. A couple balls to begin the AB to Walker. Bromley steps back in. Here's the 2-0. Swing and a miss. There's strike 1. 2 balls and a strike, the count for Walker. Very nice night here in Waterloo as here comes the 2-1 pitch. That one's going to miss outside. That's ball 3. And Bromley at risk of losing the first batter she faces here tonight. Falcons 0-9 entering play tonight. Columbus ranked 12th in 2A, 10 wins and 4 losses on the season. Here's the 3-1 pitch. That one catches the zone. Off-speed pitch is in there for a called strike 2. And the first batter of the ball game will work the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes for Eva Walker. Bromley digs in. Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Bromley comes all the way back to get the punch out. And the first batter of the ball game is retired. That'll bring up Libby Jansen, the lone senior on this Falcon ball club, getting the start at second base here tonight, batting .118 entering play, 2 hits in her 17 at-bats. Here's the first pitch. Swings through that one for a strike. 0-1 is the count. 2 RBIs on the season for Jansen, 1 walk and 7 strikeouts. She's the only other Falcon that has pitched tonight. So if the starter Switzer has trouble, that would definitely be a possibility for AP. But that ball is dropped out in center field by Reginald. It was sent into center field. Reginald camped underneath of it, but it dropped out of her glove. That'll be an error on the center fielder, Cam Reginald. And there is a runner aboard for AP. So the second batter of the ball game reaches via the E8, and that will bring up the pitcher, Ada Switzer. Switzer is a freshman. She'll bat from the right side, and she will do so with a runner on base. Here's the first pitch. That one's sent into right field, and it's going to get down to the wall. Rounding second base is Jansen. That's going to be a sliding double for Ada Switzer, and that's a great start for the Falcons as they've got runners on second and third, just 1 out. A line drive double into right field for Switzer. Jansen advances to third base, second and third for the cleanup hitter. That's Jordan Trueblood. Looks like we're going to have a courtesy runner. Believe that is Ellie Reintz, an 8th grader coming into courtesy run, just her second ball game of the season. So Reintz now stands at second base. Jansen is at third. And digging in from the right side for AP is Jordan Trueblood. Trueblood, a freshman, batting .222 this season, 4 of 18. Has 2 RBIs and 2 doubles. The double in this situation likely would score 2 for the Falcons. As I said, their last ball game was a 1-0 shutout loss. Looking to see if they can put some runs up early here. Watches that first pitch. It's high and outside for ball 1. Bromley fell behind in the first at-bat of the ball game, but came back to get a strikeout. And then what looked like a fly out to center ended up in an error. Then a double resulted in runners on second and third. There's a bunt. It's down. And now there's a miscommunication as 2 players are over at third base. It looks like the out was recorded at first, so miscommunication as Jansen at third base did not go on the bunt. Reintz did go. So it ends up with Trueblood being thrown out at first base, 2 outs, and the runners stay put at second and third. So interesting play there. Clearly some miscommunication as the first pitch of this at-bat misses high. Nonetheless, nothing comes across for AP on the bunt. Our score remains 0-0 with 2 away. That'll bring up the 5-hole hitter, Megan Bruns, another 8th grader for the Falcons. She digs in with a 1-0 count. Swings at the second pitch. It's going to roll foul down the third baseline. That will even up the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Two away here in the top of the first. Bromley trying to settle in. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one's popped high into the air, but it'll get out of play. And that will be another foul ball. There's now 2 strikes on Bruns. A ball and 2 strikes the count for the 8th grader. She's got a great batting average entering play, 364, but a fairly small sample size, just 11 at-bats, 4 hits in those 11 at-bats. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one's chopped foul as well down the third baseline, and the count will stay right where it was at 1-2. Falcons have played 9 ball games this season, but statistics, only entered for the first 6. So that's what we're rolling with here tonight. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count for Megan Bruns. Micah Bromley with the delivery. That one's looked at right down the pipe for a called strike 3. And the Sailors get out of the inning without anything coming across the board as we're scoreless heading to the bottom of the first. Stay tuned. You're listening to Waterloo Columbus Softball on 1650 The Fan. 0-0 here as we begin the bottom half of the first between Aplington-Parkersburg and Waterloo Columbus. Here's a look at the Falcon defense. Left to right in the outfield, it's Trueblood, Williamson, and Carney. Bruns is playing first base. Jansen is at second. Freund is at third. Ryard is at shortstop for AP. Walker is behind the plate doing the catching. And in the circle, getting the start for the Falcons, is the freshman Ada Switzer. Switzer has pitched 16 2/3 innings this year, making her 4th start. No wins, 2 losses. ERA is at 8.82, 13 strikeouts, and 11 walks. Cameron Reginald will begin the ball game for the Sailors as that one is sent into left field, but foul down the line. And that'll be a foul ball to begin the at-bat. Reginald, one of 8 players for the Sailors that's played in and started all 14 ball games so far. She's batting .213, 10 of 47, 8 RBIs, 2 doubles, and one of just 2 triples for this Sailor club. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one's inside, misses for ball 1. A ball and a strike to count. Switzer steps back on, prepares to deliver the 1-1. Here's the pitch. That one misses as well. 2 balls and a strike now the count for Cam Reginald. The Sailor center fielder digging in here to begin the Sailor offense. Knight, there, that pitch is put over to shortstop. It's bobbled. Throw over to first base is just in time. Good recovery by Ryard over there at shortstop. And that's the first out of the side. Ryard had some trouble with it, but recovered quickly. Made the throw over to first, and we've got one away. That brings in Haley Frost. Frost playing shortstop here tonight. Pitched 3 complete ball games between Monday and Wednesday, so not pitching tonight as she swings through the first one for a strike. Frost batting from the left side is a .390 hitter so far this year, 11 RBIs, 4 doubles, and one of the 3 home runs the Sailor Ball Club has hit. Has also reached base on balls more times than anybody else on this Sailor team with 9 walks so far. That second pitch misses outside for a ball. That evens up the count, 1 ball and 1 strike for Frost. Frost digs back in. Switzer with the pitch. That one's low in the dirt for ball 2. And Frost has worked herself ahead, 2 balls and a strike. Here's the 2-1. That one's put in play on a hop, fielded by Jansen at at second base. Picked it up on 1 hop and throws over to first in time. That's the second out of the side. A hard, well-hit ground ball over to second, but Jansen's right there, backhands it, and makes the throw for the second out. That brings up the catcher, Katie Rudin, going to dig in with nobody on and 2 away. Rudin batting from the right side, leads the Sailors in average so far this year, batting .450, 18 hits in 40 at-bats. Watches the first pitch. It's well inside, nearly caught her on the elbow. That's ball 1. Rudin also with 13 RBIs, 3 doubles, and 1 home run on her line so far this year. Here's the 1-0 from Switzer. Reaches out and gets that one, but it's on a line and fielded over there by Jansen. Line drive is caught. Jansen with a couple nice plays to retire the side. And we've played 1 full, nothing across for either side. We're scoreless heading to the second. Stay tuned. You're listening to Waterloo Columbus Softball on 1650 The Fan. We're scoreless here in Waterloo as we begin the top half of inning number 2. Some well-hit softballs in that previous inning by the Sailors, but all of them found the defender. And it was a 1-2-3 inning for Waterloo Columbus. Bromley beginning her second inning of work. She let a couple runners get in scoring position at the top of the first, but she worked out of all those runners in scoring position, and nothing came across. Leading off will be the 6-hole hitter for AP. That's Kendall Ryard, the shortstop. Squares to bunt, pulls back, and it's a ball outside. 1 ball, no strikes to count. Ryard is a sophomore, batting 125 so far this season, 2 of 16, with 1 RBI, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Bromley. Squares the bunt again, but swings instead. It's a little awkward, half-hearted swing, and it's a short pop-up to Ella Smith over at first base, and that's the first out of the side. Not sure I've ever seen a player square to bunt and swing away without actually pulling back their bunt, but nonetheless, she did put a swing on it, and it resulted in a pop out to Smith over at first base for the first out. First pitch of this at-bat misses inside for a ball. The batter is Addison Williamson. Williamson, a junior, according to the stats entered today for this game, has not had a base hit yet this season, 0 of 6 with 1 walk and 4 strikeouts. That ball is low for ball 2. 2-0 is the count for Williamson. Williamson, the 7-hole hitter for AP. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That one's hit over to Nia Simmons at third base. Makes a good, strong throw over to Smith at first, and that's the second out of the side. Little slow roller over to third base. Simmons fielded without issue and made a good, strong throw to get the second out of the top of the second. That'll bring up Avery Freund, the 8-hole hitter for AP, batting with 2 away. Swings of the first pitch, but comes up empty. That's strike 1. Freund, a freshman, batting 133, 2 of 15, 2 RBIs, and she has the lone home run the Falcons have hit so far this year. Here's the 0-1 from Bromley. That one's outside for a ball. Count is even, 1 ball, 1 strike. Bromley steps back on. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. There's strike 2. Bromley trying to go right at the AP hitter so far in this ball game. It's looked very good so far this second inning after a rocky first inning, not all of which was her fault. Was an error behind her. Here's the 1-2. That one's going to miss inside for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 away here in inning number 2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That one's inside as well, and the count has been worked full by Freund. Good at bat from the freshman. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Bromley trying to avoid losing the batter here, seeing if she can get the Sailors a 1-2-3 inning. Here's the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 1-2-3 inning for Micah Bromley. After a rocky top of the first, she comes back to the top of the second, looking strong as she gets the Falcons to go down in order. Stay tuned. You're listening to Waterloo Columbus Softball on 1650 The Fan. We're scoreless here in the bottom half of the second as we get set to resume play. It'll be Nia Simmons, the cleanup hitter, leading off the inning for Waterloo Columbus. As here comes the first pitch from Switzer. Tries to check her swing, but it is a called strike regardless. So that'll be strike 1. Simmons, a .405 hitter so far this year, 17 hits and 42 at-bats. That includes 16 RBIs, 4 doubles, and a triple. Fouls the second pitch back. No balls and 2 strikes to count. 4-5-6 this inning for Waterloo Columbus. Gardner's on deck, and Hogan will bat third. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That one's low in the dirt. Simmons wisely holds back. 1 ball, 2 strikes now the count. Switzer got the Sailors to go down in order in the bottom of the first. Now begins her second inning of work. Here's the 1-2. That one's high out of the zone. Simmons has fought back from the 0-2 to even up the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Simmons digs back in. Here's the 2-2. Puts that one in play. It is going to get through into center field, and that's a base hit for Nia Simmons. First hit of the ball game for Waterloo Columbus, and Simmons stands aboard at first base. That'll bring up Sydney Gardner. Gardner, the right fielder, taking her first cuts of the ball game. She does so with Simmons over at first base and nobody out here in the bottom of the second. Her team in a scoreless tie with the AP Falcons. She squares the bunt, pulls back. Simmons is running, but it was mishandled behind the plate by the catcher, Walker. So Simmons will be in at second base standing up. So now a runner in scoring position. Nobody out here for Waterloo Columbus as Gardner digs back in. Gardner, a .381 hitter so far this season. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swings at that one, puts it in the air. It's going to be a pop-up and caught by Jansen. The second baseman makes the play, and we've got one away. Play made at second base by the lone senior on this Falcon Ball Club, Libby Jansen. And we've got one away as that brings up Avery Hogan. Hogan, the second baseman, digs in with one away. Watches the first one. It's in there for a called strike. Hogan, a junior, batting .440. That's second best on the ball club. 11 of 25, 4 RBIs, 3 walks, and she's gone down on strikes 5 times. Puts the second pitch she sees in play. Fielded at shortstop. Throw over to first is just in time. Ryard makes the play, but Simmons wisely moves up 60 feet, and now she's just 60 feet away over there at third base. So Hogan goes down via the ground out for the second out, but she does at least advance the runner, as now Simmons stands aboard at third. That'll bring up Ella Smith, 7th hitter in the Sailor lineup. She'll dig in with a runner on third. Watches the first pitch. It's a called strike. No balls and a strike for Smith. So far this year, Smith batting .310 with a team best 19 RBIs, 2 doubles, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Good chance to make that 20 RBIs here. She sends that one in the air, high to center field, back at the wall, in fan interference perhaps, but it's gone over the wall. It looked like a fan jumped up and got it, but that's going to be a home run. Ella Smith with the bomb, and it's 2-0. Ella Smith sends one over the right center field fence. I thought for a moment they were going to say the fan reached up and grabbed it. Nonetheless, it's a home run. 2-0 Sailors as Ella Smith, for the first time this season, sends one over the fence for a home run. 2-0 Sailors after the Smith bomb to right center. And that's a big boost for Waterloo Columbus. That brings up Bromley, who pops that one up, and it's going to be caught by the pitcher Switzer to retire the side. But not before Ella Smith puts the Sailors on the board in a big way with the bomb to right center. It's 2-0 Waterloo Columbus heading to the third. Stay tuned. You're listening to Waterloo Columbus Softball on 1650 The Fan. Sailors lead it 2-0 to begin the top of the third via an Ella Smith home run, the first of her career. So congrats to Ella Smith. Sent a bomb over the right center field fence to put the Sailors on the board. And they lead it 2-0 through 2 innings of softball here in Waterloo. Aplington-Parkersburg will go 9-1-2 in the batting order to begin the top of the third, and it will be Lauren Carney leading things off. Carney, a sophomore, batting from the right side. A .182 hitter so far this season. 3 walks, 4 strikeouts on her ledger so far. Umpire gives the ready-to-play sign as Carney steps in, and we're going to begin the third inning. Bromley's first pitch just misses for a ball. Looked pretty good, but the umpire calls it for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes to count. Micah Bromley and Lauren Carney the matchup here. A freshman and a sophomore. That one's put in play, and it's going to get into right field for a base hit as Carney hustles over to first base. Hogan was moving quickly to her left, trying to backhand it, but couldn't get there in time as rolls into right field, and that's a base hit. So a leadoff single for AP, and that brings us back to the top of the batting order for Aplington-Parkersburg, as this is Eva Walker digging in from the left side. Here's the pitch from Bromley. Squares the bunt, lays it down. It's going to stay fair. Throw down to first base is in time. The second baseman, Hogan, covering. And that's the first out of the side, but Walker does her job as Carney moves up 60 feet. She's now aboard at second base. Ball just barely stayed in front of home plate. A matter of inches on that play, but it did stay put. That will bring up Libby Jansen to bat. Runner on second base and 1 out. First pitch is going to miss for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes for the senior. Jansen 0 for 1 so far in the ball game. She reached on an error. Her fly ball to center field was dropped. Ended up at third base and nearly scored as that pitch misses high for a ball, but some miscommunication on an attempted bunt. Perhaps a squeeze play was not read correctly by Jansen. She stayed put at third base despite the runner behind her moving up. Falcons were lucky to not get doubled up on that play, but nonetheless did not score a run. as there's a swing and a miss. That's strike two, or excuse me, strike one. 2 balls and a strike to count for Libby Jansen. Jansen, the lone senior on this ball club. Here's the 2-1 pitch from Bromley. That one catches the zone, called strike two. Count has been even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bromley steps back on. Goes into her windup. Here's the 2-2. That one's low, but good job by the catcher, Katie Rudin, to keep it from going anywhere. And Kearney is forced to stay at second base. They did throw over to check on her, but nothing going there. Count is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes as Jansen digs in. Here's the payoff pitch. That's a called strike 3 on the inside corner. Great spot from Micah Bromley. And Jansen goes down looking for the second out of the side. Big time strikeout there from Bromley. The freshman put in the pitch right where it needed to be. Got the perfect spot on that one and was rewarded with a called strike 3. 2-away runner on second for Ada Switzer. Here's the first pitch. Holds back, and it's just high for a ball. Switzer is 1 for 1 in the day. Had a line drive double in her first at-bat back in the first inning. Now bats here with a runner on second. That one's in the dirt, fielded by Kearney. 2 balls, no strikes. Bromley steps back into the circle. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. That one's put in play, but it's going to be a foul ball just out of the outreaching glove of Ella Smith. Tried to make her way over to the left side to make that play, but couldn't get there, and it's going to be a foul ball. 2 balls, 1 strike for Ada Switzer. The freshman trying to put her team on the board, trailing 2-0. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. There's strike 2. And that's back-to-back at-bats where Bromley gives a couple balls to begin the at-bat, but then comes right back and gets 2 strikes. Now the count is at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the 2-2. That one's popped up high, short center field, and the catch is going to be made out there by Cam Reginald in fairly deep center field as that ball carried for a while, but was caught, and that retires the side. Nothing going for AP that inning. Our score remains 2-0 heading to the bottom of the third. Stay tuned. You're listening to Waterloo Columbus Softball on 1650 The Fan. Sailors lead this one 2-0 here in the bottom half of inning number 3. As an Ella Smith home run gave them their first 2 runs of the ball game. That's the only runs across the board we've seen so far for either side. As we begin the bottom of the third with the 9-hole hitter, Maddie Rudin, 9-1-2 this inning for Waterloo Columbus. Rudin batting from the left side, Here's the first pitch of the AB. Gets a piece of that one, but it's going to fall for a foul ball. No balls and a strike for the freshman, Maddie Rudin. Batting 172 so far this year, 5 hits, 29 at-bats, 1 RBI, 7 walks, and 13 strikeouts. Watches that one. It just catches the outside portion of the strike zone. No balls and 2 strikes now the count. Rudin will have to protect here with 2 strikes. Here's the 0-2. That one's in the dirt for a ball. Count goes to 1-2 now for Rudin. Here's the 1-2 from Switzer. That's going to miss outside for ball 2, and the count has been evened up. Good discipline from Rudin to not chase with 2 strikes. 2 balls, 2 strikes on the freshman. Playing left field here tonight. Here's the 2-2. Puts that one in play. A little dribbler down the first base line, but it will go foul. Rudin will stay alive in the at-bat. Count stays at 2-2. Hustles back down the first base line, picks up her bat, and she'll continue the AB. Switzer goes into her windup. Here's the 2-2. That one's popped high into the air, but it will go foul out of play over the top of the Columbus dugout. Good battle by Rudin here, fouling off some good pitches, staying alive. Count stays at 2-2. Here's the pitch. Puts that one in play. It's going to be fielded at third base by Froon. Throw over is going to be not in time. She beats it out by a step. Great at bat by Rudin and great hustle down the first base line as it wasn't mishandled by Froon at all. Rudin was just too fast that time. So an infield single for Maddie Rudin, and the first batter of the inning reaches base. Back to the top of the lineup we go for Columbus, and that is Cam Reginald batting here for the Sailors. Squares the bunt, pulls back, gets high out of the zone for a ball. Good eye from Reginald on that pitch. He's 0 for 1 so far today. Grounded out to Ryard over at shortstop in her first at-bat. That was to begin the bottom half of the first. This time bats with the runner on first and nobody out. Squares the bunt again, but again pulls back. That one's high. Rudin is running, and she is going to be gunned down at second base. Great throw by Eva Walker behind the plate. And the first out of the inning occurs on the base paths. We've got one away. Great throw down by Walker. So that is just the second time all season a Sailor's been caught stealing. Rudin was 2 of 2 before that. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That one's put in play. Ground ball over to second base. Jansen fields, throws to first. It's in plenty of time. And that's the second out of the side. Complexion of this inning has changed quickly for Waterloo Columbus. Within a couple of pitches, they go from a runner on first and nobody out to nobody on and 2 away, as that brings in Haley Frost. Frost to dig in from the left side here with 2 outs. Her ball club leading this game 2-0. Watches the first pitch. It misses low and outside for a ball. 1-0 count to Frost. She's 0 for 1 so far in the ball game. She grounded out over to second base. Very hard ground ball, but was fielded cleanly by Jansen. 1-0 pitch is low as well, so the count goes to 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes for the junior Haley Frost, playing shortstop tonight for Waterloo Columbus. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Watches that one, but the off-speed catches the zone for a called strike. Nice 2-0 pitch by Ada Switzer brings the count to 2-1. Frost digs back in. Here's the pitch. Watches that one low and outside. Gets away from Walker, but nobody's on, so nothing hurts for AP. 3 balls and 1 strike for Haley Frost. Katie Rudin is on deck if Frost manages to reach base. Here comes a 3-1 pitch. Puts that one in play, and that'll be a base hit up the middle to the right of the second baseman, Jansen, and that's a base knock for Haley Frost. Frost gets her first hit of the ball game after getting a good piece of the first ball she put in play, but it was fielded cleanly. Frost is aboard at first base with 2 away. That brings up Katie Rudin, 3-hole hitter for Waterloo Columbus. Leader in batting average on this Sailor Ball Club, bats with 2 away. And Haley Frost safely aboard over at first base. Watches the first pitch, low and inside for a ball. Rudin is 0 for 1 so far today. She lined out to Jansen over at second base in her first at-bat. Here's the 1-0. Puts that one in play. It's going to be fielded on the knees by the shortstop, Ryard. Great play by Ryard to pick it up quickly off one hop, make a strong throw over to first base, and that retires the side. So nothing going offensively for Waterloo Columbus in the bottom half of the third. We go to the fourth with the Sailors on top, 2-0. Stay tuned. You're listening to Waterloo Columbus Softball on 1650 The Fan. Waterloo Columbus on top, 2-0 here at Columbus Catholic High School in Waterloo as we begin the top half of inning number 4. Micah Bromley still in the circle for the Sailors. The freshman looked very good so far in this appearance. Has not given up a run, and her team leads at 2-0. The cleanup hitter, Jordan Trueblood, will begin the inning for AP as she digs in for the first pitch. Swings at the first one, line drive right back towards the press box. About a foot further to the left, and I would have maybe had to go in for some facial reconstruction surgery or something of that nature, but nonetheless, it's just a foul ball. No balls and a strike. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one's going to miss low and outside. Count is evened at 1-1. Trueblood 0 for 1 so far on the day. She laid down a bunt. She was the one that laid down that bunt that had the miscommunication that could have scored a run, but she ended up out at first base. Swing and a miss. That's strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes now the count for Trueblood. Rudin throws the ball back over to Bromley in the circle. Trueblood, a freshman, batting .222 so far this year. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Bromley. That one's low in the dirt for a ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Nobody on, nobody out here in the top half of the 4th. 2-2 pitch. That one's tipped back, just barely caught a piece of that one, did True Blood, but she did catch enough as the count stays put at 2-2 on the foul ball. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Bromley. That one's put in play. Simmons fields, has some trouble with it, picks it back up. Throw over to first base is just in time. Great job by Smith at first to field. That ball hopped before she got it. But great recovery by Simmons, and that's the first out of the side. That brings up Megan Bruns, one of 7 8th graders on this Falcon roster. She digs in from the right side. Bromley sends in the pitch. That first pitch is popped up high in the air. It's going to get out of play. That's a foul ball to begin the at-bat. Bruns went down looking in her first at-bat, 0 for 1 on the day. Entering play, she's batting .364, second best on the team. That strikeout certainly hurt her batting average, as an updated batting average for her would be .333. Here's the 0-1. Swings through that one for strike 2. Bromley has looked pretty sharp these past couple innings. Is ahead here, no balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. That one is going to miss outside for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That was the 50th pitch from Bromley. So far, 30 strikes and 20 balls is the breakdown. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. That one's put in play, and it's going to be just to the right of the outstretched glove of Avery Hogan, and that's a base hit. Looked like Bruns kind of had to shorten up her swing, go inside to get that one, but sends it into center field for a base knock. So with 1 away, Bruns is aboard at first base, and that brings up the shortstop, Kendall Ryard. The sophomore batting with a runner on first and 1 away here in the top of the 4th. Swings to the first pitch she sees. Simmons is there. If it stays in play, it does. She rams into the dugout, but she makes the grab. Good stick-to-itiveness on that play by Nia Simmons, and she makes the grab in foul territory. Waves off Coach Olmstead, says she's okay. Took a pretty good shot into that dugout fence, but she's clearly okay. Good to see. We've got 2 away. That brings up Addison Williamson to bat with 2 outs. She watches the first pitch inside. Runner is in motion, but that ball's going to get into center field. And the runner, Bruns, will stay put at second base. Good backup by the center fielder, Cam Reginald, to allow Bruns to go no further. But she does reach second base on the play. Now runner is in scoring position for AP. Here's the 1-0. That one's put in play. Fielded over at shortstop by Frost. Throw is going to be just in time. Beats her by about a step and a half. And that will retire the side. So the Sailors continue the shutout to this point. 2-0 Columbus as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Stay tuned. You're listening to Waterloo Columbus Softball on 1650 The Fan. 2-0 Sailors here in Waterloo as we begin the bottom half of inning number 4. Sailors will go 4, 5, and 6 as Nia Simmons will lead off the inning. The Sailor cleanup hitter digs in as Ada Switzer begins her 4th inning of work. That pitch misses low and inside for ball 1. Simmons 1 for 1 in the day so far. Sent a ground ball into center field for a base hit in her first at-bat. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one just catches the inside portion of the strike zone. 1 ball, 1 strike, now the count. Simmons digs back in. Here's the 1-1. And that catches Simmons on the elbow. She's taken some abuse these past couple half innings. As in the top half, she ran into the fence of the dugout fairly hard trying to catch a pop fly. She did catch the pop fly, by the way. This time takes the pitch off the elbow. But she's plenty tough. She makes her way down to first base. And the leadoff runner reaches for Columbus. That brings up Sydney Gardner to bat for Columbus. She watches the first pitch inside. 1 ball, no strikes to the junior right fielder. Gardner popped out to Jansen at second base in her first at-bat. 0 for 1, taking her second cuts of the evening here. Here's the 1-0. That one's well high outside of the zone. Count moves to 2-0. Simmons over at second base, a perfect 6 of 6 on stolen bases this season. So we'll see if she's in motion at all. Here's the 2-0 pitch. And Simmons will go, but that's just because the pitch got away from the catcher, Walker. 3-0 count, and now Simmons stands at second base. Pitch was low in the dirt. Walker couldn't handle it. Gets to the backstop, and Simmons easily makes her way into second base. Here's the 3-0 pitch to Gardner. Watches that one. It's ball 4. And the first 2 batters of the inning reach, neither of them via a base hit. Sydney Gardner is at first base on the walk. Simmons over at second because of the hit by pitch. That'll bring up the second baseman, Avery Hogan. She'll dig in with a couple of runners on. Nobody out here in the bottom half of the 4th. Hogan squares the bunt, lays one down. It's a good one, fielded by the pitcher, Switzer. Throw over to first base is in time. But Hogan does her job. Sacrifice bunt, puts 2 runners in scoring position with just 1 out. And the leading RBI hitter on this team, Ella Smith, will dig in.
Number 15, the first base.
So the first baseman, Ella Smith, digs in. Simmons at third base. Gardner is at second. 1 away here in the bottom of the 4th. That one gets away, goes to the backstop. Simmons is in motion. She will slide in, and she is safe as Nia Simmons scores on the wild pitch. Gardner also moved up 60 feet to third base, and the Sailor lead increases to 3-0. Good heads-up base running by Simmons and Gardner, respectively. Both move up a base, and that allows Simmons to come across to score. Three to 0, Waterloo Columbus. 1 away, runner on third base. Ella Smith with a 1-0 count. Here's the 1-0. That one's put in play. It's going to be backhanded at second base by Jansen. Throw is in time, but that will score a run. As Gardner comes in to score, Smith credited with the RBI ground out. Score goes to 4-0 Columbus as Gardner comes in to score on the play. Bases are empty, 2 away for Micah Bromley.
Number 7, the pitcher.
Bromley, the pitcher here this evening, digs in with her club leading at 4-0. Pops the first pitch of the AB high into the air, foul territory. The catch is going to be made. Popped in and out of the glove momentarily of Freund, but she hangs on, makes the grab, and that will retire the side. But not before Columbus puts 2 more across the board. They lead at 4-0 heading to the 5th. Stay tuned. You're listening to Waterloo Columbus Softball on 1650 The Fan. The Sailors double up their lead in the bottom half of the 4th. They now lead at 4-0 after 2 come across in the bottom half of inning number 4. We get set to begin the top of the 5th. 4-0 lead for Columbus. Micah Bromley still in the circle for Columbus. She's now worked 4 full innings and is officially in line for the win if this 4-0 lead holds out through these final 3 innings of softball. Falcons go 8-9-1 in this half inning. It'll be Avery Freund digging in to begin the inning. Freund made a really nice catch in foul territory to end the bottom of the 4th. Now we'll begin the top of the 5th. Again, a little half-hearted swing, sends it for a weak foul ball just behind the plate. Count moves to 0-1. Freund comes in with an average of 133 this season. No balls and a strike on her here. Squares to bunt. Holds back, and that's a ball. Very awkward swing does Freund have. She squares to bunt, and even if she's not going to actually lay down a bunt, she does not pull back. She just kind of gives a half-hearted swing. 1 ball, 1 strike is the count. Freund is a freshman for AP. Here comes the 1-1. Squares to bunt, kind of slaps at it again. Fielded by the pitcher, Bromley. Throw is in time. Good job by Avery Hogan to cover. And that is the first out of the side. That brings up the 9-hole hitter for Aplington-Parkersburg. That is Lauren Carney. The sophomore comes in 1 for 1 on the day. She'll dig in with nobody on, 1 away here in the 5th. Swings the first pitch, comes up empty. That's strike one. No balls and a strike for Clarney. She sent a slow rolling ground ball into right field in her first at-bat. Base hit earlier tonight, so she's 1 for 1. Watches the second pitch. It misses outside for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike is the count. Bromley steps back on. Goes into her windup. Here's the 1-1. That one's popped up. Hogan's going to come in, make a little basket catch, and that's the second out of the side. Weak line drive over to second base. Hogan had to move in just a touch. Makes the grab without issue, and we've got 2 away. Back to the top of the order for Aplington-Parkersburg, and in steps the 8th grade catcher Eva Walker hitting from the left side. Nobody on, 2 away for AP. Watches the first pitch, low and outside, for a ball. 1-0 count. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one's put in play, but it's going to roll for a foul ball. And the count will move to 1-1. One ball and 1 strike to count. Eva Walker digging in with her Falcon Ball Club trailing the Sailors, 4-0. Here's the 1-1. There's a pop-up, but that one's going to get out of play. No chance for the Sailors to make a play on that one, as it's going to be a foul ball. Count moves to 1-2. Bromley works ahead in this at-bat. Bromley into her windup. And now pauses, and they're going to call that a ball as Bromley kind of stumbled out of her windup momentarily. That is an automatic ball. Here's the 2-2. That one misses, so just like that, it is 3-2. And evidently that was ball 4. That's not what I or the scoreboard operator here in Waterloo had. Now the umpires are going to confer. Unless both of us miss something, that should be a full count. And he tells Coach Olmsted that he called an illegal pitch. But that, as Coach Olmsted correctly said, that should just make the count go to 2-2, and ball 3 would have been 3-2. Now we're having a long discussion between the umpires. Miscommunication on the pitch count. Coach Olmsted, myself, and the scoreboard operator here in Waterloo all are on the same page. And looks like the umpires are going to correct themselves, and I believe this AB will continue. Walker had initially made her way down to first base. Confusion came when a illegal pitch was called with a 1-2 count, and a ball was called as a 3-2 count, and sure enough, that pitch misses for ball 4. So now she does get walked, and she stands aboard at first base. Umpire calls time to wipe home plate clean of the dirt. 2 outs, runner on first base, and Libby Jansen will dig in for Aplington-Parkersburg. Jansen takes a couple practice swings, taking her time, looking down to head coach Sarah Jansen, and now digs in. First pitch misses low and inside for a ball. Walker stays put over there at first base. That was just the first walk of the day for Bromley, as there's Jansen squares the bunt, but pulls back and it misses for ball 2. 2 balls, no strike for Libby Jansen. Bromley with the 2-0 pitch, squares the bunt, pulls back. Walker is running, and she will slide in safely. As the pitch missed, 3-0 the count. Walker over at second base. .30 pitch from Bromley. And that one is going to just barely miss inside, and that is ball 4. Back-to-back 2-out walks. Jansen now stands at first, Walker at second, and that brings up the 3-hole hitter, Ada Switzer. Coach Olmsted is going to come out and talk to his club. We'll see if it's just a pep talk or if he's going to make a switch. Does not appear he's going to make any changes right now. as all the infielders and now Katie Rudin, the catcher, come in and join this conversation. Runners on first and second here in Waterloo, 2 away, top of the 5th. Sailors on top of the Falcons of Aplington-Parkersburg by a score of 4-0. Falcons trying to find their first win of the year. They come in 0-9. Sailors ranked 12th in Class 2A by the IGH SAU. They come in with a record of 10-4. Coach Olmsted has given the pep talk to his freshman pitcher. Everybody goes back to their positions. We're going to resume the top of the 5th. Big spot here for Ada Switzer. If the Falcons want to get back in the ball game, this might be the best chance they get the rest of the night. 2 on, 2 outs. Takes a good swing at the first pitch. That's a hit, and that's going to score a run. 4-1 score as a hard line drive single by Switzer finds its way into left center field, and the Falcons are on the board. Our score is 4-1. Walker came across to score. Jansen stayed put at second base, however. Looks like we're going to have a courtesy runner over at first base. Once again, that is Ellie Reintz, the 8th grader, in there to run the bases for the pitcher, Switzer. Trueblood is the batter for AP. First pitch misses. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 away. Still runners on first and second. Reintz is on first and Jansen on second for Jordan Trueblood. She puts a swing into that one. Gardner coming in, lets it drop. Couldn't get there in time, and that will score another run as Jansen comes in to score from second base. This lead has been cut in half. It is 4-2. Trueblood gets the RBI, just her 3rd of the season. Jansen comes in to score as that brings in Megan Bruns. Reintz at second base, Trueblood at first. Still 2 outs. That first pitch misses for a ball. All the damage this inning has come with 2 away as the first 2 batters went down in order. Columbus still leads it, but just by a score of 4-2 now. Here's the pitch from Bromley. That one's put in play. Simmons fields at third. Wisely steps on the third base bag to get the force. And that will retire the side, but not before Aplington-Parkersburg touched the lead in half. It's now 4-2, heading to the bottom of the 5th. Stay tuned. You're listening to Waterloo Columbus Softball on 1650 The Fan. Aplington-Parkersburg puts 2 across in the top half of the 5th. They're now within 2 runs. Columbus leads this ball game 4-2 as Maddie Rudin digs in to begin the 5th inning for Waterloo Columbus. 9-1-2 go the Sailors this half inning. They lead at 4-2. Rudin digs in from the left side. That first pitch misses for a ball. Low and in the dirt, gets to the backstop. 1-0 count for Rudin. She's 1 for 1 so far today. Reached on an infield single. Grounded out, a grounder over to, or ran out, a grounder over to third base. That one's in the dirt as well. That's ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes for the freshman. Here's the 2-0. That one misses high out of the zone as well. Count goes to 3-0. Ada Switzer still in the circle for AP. She's worked 4 innings so far, given up 4 runs. Here's the 3-0. That one catches the zone for a called strike. 3 balls and a strike is the count. Here's the 3-1. That one's low in the dirt, ball 4. And Rudin draws a 5-pitch walk to begin the 5th inning. Back to the top of the order we go as Cameron Reginald digs in for Waterloo Columbus. She'll bat with the 9-hole hitter Maddie Rudin the board at first base. Squares the bunt, pulls back, and Rudin is going to head over to second base as that one gets away from the catcher, Eva Walker. So that works even better than a bunt. Reginald had squared the bunt, but it pulls back on a ball low in the dirt, gets away from Walker. And now Rudin's aboard at second base. 1-0 pitch, squares the bunt again, lays it down. It's going to be fielded by the first baseman. Throw is in time, and that will be the first out of the side. But that moves Rudin up to third base.
Batting for your Sailor, number 2, the shortstop, Haley Frost.
Haley Frost digs in. Rudin on third base, 1 away here in the 5th. Frost watches the first pitch. It misses outside for a ball. Sailors on top of the Falcons 4-2 here in Waterloo. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Frost. Puts that one in play on a line, and that's going to be an inning-ending double play. Ryard makes the catch, throws over to third base. Freund makes the grab. Ryard with the inning-ending double play for AP. And our score remains 4-2 heading to the top of the sixth. Stay tuned. You're listening to Waterloo Columbus Softball on 1650 The Fan. The promising situation turns into an inning-ending double play for Waterloo Columbus as a runner on third base with one away quickly turns into the end of the inning. And we head to the top of the sixth with a 4-2 lead for the Sailors. AP down to their final 6 outs. Micah Bromley still in the circle. Was pitching a scoreless game until that previous inning when she gave up a couple of runs. Still in line for the win as her Sailors lead at 4-2. Falcons will go 6-7-8 this inning. Kendall Ryard will lead off for AP. She digs in. Here's the pitch from Bromley. First pitch is popped into the air. Middle infield. It'll be caught by Frost. The shortstop calls off the second baseman Hogan. And 1 pitch, 1 out for Waterloo Columbus. That brings up Addison Williamson for AP. Williamson 0 for 2 so far on the day. She'll dig in with nobody on, 1 away here in the top half of the sixth. Here's the first pitch from Bromley. That one's put in play. Long drive out to left field, and it is going to just go foul. Really well hit ball there from Williamson. Gave it a ride out towards left field. Was a little bit short of the fence out there, but very close, but ended up just a few feet to the left of that foul line down the left field line. So no balls and a strike on Williamson. She's 0 for 2 so far today. Grounded out to both third base and shortstop. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. There's strike 2. First 2 pitches to Williamson from Bromley are for strikes, and it's 0-2. Bromley gets set. Here's the 0-2. That one's high out of the zone for a ball. Something of a waste pitch there from Bromley, leading the count 0-2. Count now moves to a ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. That one's low inside in the dirt. And that evens up the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the 2-2. That one's put in play, and that's a base hit. Gets into center field in a hurry. Reginald quickly gets it back in. But Williamson reaches on the base hit into center. And with 1 away, the Falcons have a runner aboard. That brings up Avery Freund for Aplington-Parkersburg, the third baseman, batting 8th for AP. Will do so with a runner on first base in the form of Addison Williamson. As Freund digs in. Squares the bunt. That one's low. And Rudin throws over to first base. Williamson was slightly off the bag, trying to see what Rudin would do. Throw does not get her. And it's a ball and no strikes. Squares the bunt, pulls back again. And that one does catch the zone. A ball and a strike is the count, as Williamson quickly gets back into first base. Freund digs back in. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That pitch misses inside. That's ball 2. 2 balls and a strike to count for the freshman Avery Freund. Here comes the 2-1. Swing and a miss. There's strike 2. Count is evened up. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That was pitch number 85 for Micah Bromley. Here's the 2-2. That one's high out of the zone. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Bromley trying to stay away from losing Freund here. Already a runner on. Just 1 away here in the 6th. Here's the 3-2. That one's popped up into the air, and Rudin makes the grab behind the plate. And that's the second out of the side. That's an out the Sailors very much needed, and they get it. Pop out. Flies just a few feet into the air. Rudin pops out of the crouch, makes the grab, and that's the second out of the side. Coach Olmstead hustling out to talk to his team again, and this time it looks like we'll get a pitching change. Haley Frost, the ace in the Sailor pitching lineup, will go into the dugout, take off her visor, replace that for her mask, and she runs back on. So it looks like Haley Frost will enter the ball game. She will now be pitching for Waterloo Columbus, trying to get the final 4 outs and pick up what would be a save for Waterloo Columbus. So here's the situation. 2 away here in the top of the 6th. Williamson is still aboard at first base. The 9-hole hitter Lauren Carney will bat. And Haley Frost is the new pitcher. Here's the numbers on Frost. They're good. Making her 14th appearance, her 4th relief appearance this season. She's gone 64 2/3 innings, 7 wins and 3 losses. Her ERA has plummeted down to 1.73, 60 strikeouts, just 12 walks. Sailors trying to make sure they close the door on any comeback effort the Falcons have in mind. Coach Olmstead going to the ace of his pitching lineup. Frost putting in her warm-up pitches. As I said, she'll try to get the final 4 outs of this ball game. 2 away here in the 6th for AP. Williamson over at first base for Aplington-Parkersburg. Looks like Frost about ready to go, and we're going to resume play here in the top half of the 6th with a new pitcher. A simple 1-for-1 split as Frost, the shortstop, moves into the pitching circle. And the regular shortstop, tonight's starting pitcher, Micah Bromley, moves over to short. A couple more pitches for Frost. And now she'll be good to go. Lauren Carney digs in to begin her at-bat. That's the first pitch in play, but it goes back for a foul ball. No balls and a strike to count. No balls and a strike. 4-2 ball game here in Waterloo. Sailors leading by 2. Here's the pitch. That one's put in play. Picked up on one hop by Smith. Steps on first base, and that retires the side. Nothing comes across for Aplington-Parkersburg in the inning. Our score remains 4-2, heading to the bottom of the 6th. Stay tuned. You're listening to Waterloo Columbus Softball on 1650 The Fan. A 4-2 ball game here in Waterloo. Columbus on top of the Aplington-Parkersburg Falcons as we get set to begin the bottom half of inning number 6. Sailors have scored 4 runs on 4 hits, 1 error. Falcons so far 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors. Ada Switzer still in the circle for Aplington-Parkersburg. Throws her last warm-up pitch. Walker throws down. And we're going to begin the 6th inning for Columbus. Katie Rudin will bat first. 3-4-5 go the Sailors this inning. As Katie Rudin digs in 0 for 2 so far in the ball game. Rudin digs in to begin the inning. Here's the first pitch. That one's going to miss inside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes to count. Rudin lined out to second base and then grounded out to shortstop in her first 2 at-bats of the ball game. Here's the 1-0. That one's in the dirt, gets to the backstop. Count moves to 2 balls and no strikes. Rudin quickly finds herself in a good hitter's count. Sailors lead this contest by a score of 4-2. Bottom of the 6th here at Columbus. 2-0 pitch misses as well. Count moves to 3-0. 3 balls and no strikes. The low pitch count for Ada Switzer, just 63 so far. Here's the 64th. That one is going to just catch the zone for a called strike. Was on the inside corner, but just caught the strike zone. 3 balls and a strike now the count for Katie Rudin. Here's the 3-1. That one does miss inside, and that's ball 4. Katie Rudin walks to begin the inning, and the Sailors have a runner on.
Number 27.
That brings in Nia Simmons for Waterloo Columbus. Simmons 1 for 1 so far today. She digs in with Rudin the board at first. Here's the first pitch. That one catches his own for a called strike. Simmons sent a grounder into center field in her first at-bat, and last time she was hit by a pitch. Has reached base in both plate appearances so far. Here's the 0-1. Puts that one in play. Diving effort is not in time by Ryard, and there's a base hit from Nia Simmons. First 2 batters of the inning reach for Waterloo Columbus, and that will bring up Sydney Gardner.
Number 30. Right field.
Gardner digs in with Simmons at first and Rudin at second. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th. Sailors leading this one 4-2, trying to add some insurance. Here's the pitch. Checks her swing and does so in time. That one is in the dirt for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes for Sydney Gardner. 0 for 1 so far today. She popped out to second, and then she reached via the base on balls. Here's the 1-0. Watches that one as well. It's low. 2-0 the count. Switzer having some difficulties with her control so far this inning. Count goes to 2-0. Here's the pitch from Switzer. That one misses as well, and it's 3-0. 3 balls, no strikes. Sydney Gardner digs in. We'll see if she's taking with the 3-0 count or if she's swinging away. Here's the pitch. Lets that one go by. It's well inside and low for ball 4. And the first 3 batters of the inning are aboard for Waterloo Columbus. Avery Hogan will bat next. But the head coach of AP, Sarah Jansen, comes out to talk to her pitcher, and we're going to have a pitching change as Switzer tosses the ball over to the second baseman, Libby Jansen. I believe we'll just have a 1-for-1 switch with Jansen going to pitch and Switzer moving over to second base. But Switzer's night is done after 5 innings of 2-run softball. She is responsible for all 3 runners on base for Aplington-Parkersburg, for Waterloo Columbus. If any of those 3 do come across to score, she would be responsible for those runs. New pitcher is Libby Jansen, making her 6th appearance of the season. This is her 3rd relief appearance. She's gone 18 2/3 innings this year, record of 0 wins, 4 losses. ERA is at 12, 6 strikeouts, just 17 walks. So not a great strikeout to walk ratio for Libby Jansen. Let's try to clean that up and get a few outs here for the Falcons. Jansen, the lone senior on this ball club. She's in the circle for Aplington-Parkersburg. Bases loaded, nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th. Avery Hogan is the batter. Gardner is at first, Simmons at second, Rudin at third. For Jansen, nowhere to put Hogan. Hogan patiently waiting for Jansen to take her final couple warm-up pitches. And then we'll get the bottom of the 6th underway. Hogan 0 for 1 so far today. She digs in against the new pitcher. Here's the first pitch from Jansen. That one's put into play. That's a base hit, and that'll score a couple for Columbus. Rudin slides in. Simmons is also in, and that's a 6-2 lead for the Sailors. On her first pitch, Jansen gives up 2 runs via the RBI base hit from Hogan, and the Sailors extend their lead. It's now 6-2. Gardner also advances to second on the play. Nobody at third now. Hogan at first for the batter, Ella Smith. Sailors now lead at 6-2. That one does catch the zone for a called strike. 0-1 to Smith. Those earned runs do go against the starter Switzer. They will not be credited to Jansen. That one's lined into center field. Coach Olmsted waving Gardner home. Hogan's going to advance to third. The ball is misplayed at shortstop, so Gardner will score easily. And the lead is extended further at 7-2. Smith with the RBI base hit into center field. The offense finally starting to come alive in this ball game for the Sailors. And that brings up Micah Bromley. Runners on the corners. Nobody out as that ball misses high to Micah Bromley. Bromley's 0 for 2 so far in the ball game. Popped out to the pitcher, and then she popped out over to Freund, the third baseman, in foul territory. Puts a drive into that one, but it's a foul ball. Good swing there from Bromley, just off. 1 ball and 1 strike for the freshman Bromley. Started the game in the circle, is in line for the win. Squares the bunt, lays it down. Hogan's coming home. Slide is in time, and Avery Hogan scores on the suicide squeeze from Micah Bromley. Great play call by Coach Olmstead, playing some small ball in this ball game, and it is now 8-2. So Hogan comes in to score. Smith moves up to second. It's 8-2 Columbus, and that brings in the 9-hole hitter, Maddie Rudin. 8-2 ball game, as there's a bunt, but cannot get it to go down. No balls and a strike to count. Did not pull back her bunt attempt. Still nobody out here in the 6th. Puts that one in play, but it's a foul ball. Count moves to 0-2. 4 runs already in this half inning for Columbus. Lead has gone from 4-2 to 8-2 now. No balls and 2 strikes for Rudin. Here's the pitch. Puts that one in play. A little pop up, and it will be caught by the shortstop Ryard. And there's the first out of the side. Falcons finally getting out here in the bottom of the 6th. And that brings in Cam Reginald. Reginald digs in with Bromley on first, Smith on second. 1 out. First pitch is going to be called for a strike. Looked inside, but it did just catch the zone. No balls and a strike for Cam Reginald. She's 0 for 2 so far today. This time Bass has 2 runners on. Gets a piece of that one, but sends it back for a foul ball. Count is 0-2. Reginald is grounded out both times so far to second and to short. Also had a sacrifice. That one's put in play. There's a drive out towards center field. It will be caught. Smith tags. She's going to make her way over to third base. She is in time, and she moves up 60 feet over to third base. Williamson made the grab out in center field. That's the second out of the side. Well hit ball by Reginald. So results in the flyout, but Smith does move up. That'll bring up Haley Frost. 1 for 3 in the ball game. Bats with 2 outs. Runners on the corners here. Sailors trying to add some extra insurance. That one gets away. Smith's going to come in. Throw to the plate is not in time, and Ella Smith scores. Bromley's taken off for third base. She will get there. Ball gets away, but it's backed up by Ryard, and Bromley will move no further. But on the one wild pitch, a run comes in to score. Bromley goes from first to third when we've got an injury on the field. Looks like the third baseman, Avery Freund, is down for AP, and they're going to check on her. Score is now 9-2. Sailors have put across 5 runs in this inning. They've added plenty of insurance to their lead. Bromley made her way up to third base on that previous wild pitch. Haley Frost still the batter, and we've still got 2 away here in the bottom of inning number 6. They're checking on Freund over there at third base. Looked like there was a collision on Bromley's slide into the base. And she was trying to, and successfully did, move up an extra 60 feet. So action is paused here in Waterloo. Sailors have scored 9 runs on 7 hits, 1 error so far in this ball game. Falcons 2 runs on 6 hits, no errors. Got to give some credit to AP coming in with an 0-9 record. Have certainly played toe-to-toe with Columbus pretty much all night. The game's just finally started to get out of hand in this half of the inning. Certainly hope Freund is okay. Still checking on her over there by the third base bag. Hopefully nothing serious. Laying down on her back, now stretching out her leg. And they're going to help her to her feet. And they will assist her as she makes her way back over to the dugout. Gets a nice round of applause from the Columbus crowd and her teammates, of course. Now being talked to by the AP coaching staff. Is walking under her own power, so that's good to see. Now they're going to have her jog a little bit. She might be trying to stay in the ball game. Freund jogging gingerly. We'll see if she remains in the contest. It's 9-2. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Still checking on Freund over there. It looks like she is going to grab her mask and glove from her coach, and she's going to try to stay in the ball game. A player had come on the field for AP to replace her. She jogs off. Avery Freund is going to stay in for the Falcons. Nice round of applause for her. Gets a fist bump from Columbus coach Chris Olmstead. And we're going to resume play. Ball, no strikes. 2 away. Bromley's at third base, and the batter is Haley Frost. Frost digs in. Here comes the pitch. Puts that one in play. There's a liner into the left center field gap. That's a base hit. That's an RBI for Haley Frost. And the lead is extended further. It's 10-2. Sailor offense has come alive this half inning. They now lead it by 8. And the game-winning run now comes to the plate for Waterloo Columbus. Sailors just 2 runs away from ending this ball game. We're going to have a courtesy runner for the pitcher Frost, as that's going to be Olivia Surma entering the ball game to run the bases for Waterloo Columbus. Surma playing in her 12th game of the season, has not started the contest yet this year, primarily used in that courtesy runner role. So Katie Rudin digs in. As I said, Rudin would be the game-winning run for Columbus. They put 6 across and now lead it 10-2. 10-run rule is in effect, and that would end the contest. That one's in the dirt. Surma thought about it, but Walker did a good job of keeping it right there. And the count's now a ball and no strikes. Rudin 0 for 2 so far today. Looking to get her first base hit of the ball game. Here's the 1-0. Hard ground ball, gets through the gap and gets into left field. And that'll move everybody up. Surma's at second base. And now Rudin stands aboard at first base. Good piece of hitting there. Hard ground ball into left field. That'll bring up Nia Simmons. And the Sailors have now batted the round and then some this inning, as Simmons batted second to begin this inning. We're going to have a courtesy runner for the catcher, Rudin, as well. And that is going to be Abby Ettringer. The freshman jogs onto the field, playing in her 7th contest of the season. She will courtesy run for the catcher, Rudin. And Ettringer is now the winning run. Nia Simmons digs in. She's a perfect 2 for 2 on the day. Sent a ground ball into center field, was hit by a pitch, and then hit a hard grounder into left field for a couple of base hits, as well as reaching on the hit by pitch. 10-2 ball game, runners on first and second. Nia Simmons digs in for Columbus. And she is nailed by the second pitch of the ball game, and the bases are now loaded. I was informed that Simmons in travel ball is hit by pitches pretty much every game, had not been hit by one this year. but is hit by that one, her second hit by pitch tonight. And the bases are loaded. That brings up Sydney Gardner. 0 for 1 in the ball game. Gets a swing on that one. That gets into center field. That could end the game, but they're going to hold Abby Ettringer right there at third base, playing station to station here as it was quickly brought back into the field by the center fielder, Williamson. There's an RBI for Gardner. It's 11-2. So now the winning run is at third base. And I believe we're going to have a pinch hitter for Waterloo Columbus. Certainly we do, and that is Addison Zahetner. Addison Zahetner, a freshman, making her third at-bat of the season. She's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts so far. She will pinch hit for the second baseman, Avery Hogan. 2 outs here in the bottom of the sixth. Zahetner digs in, bases loaded, 2 outs, winning run at third base. Libby Jansen still in the circle for AP. Swings the first pitch, sends it back for a foul ball. Count moves to 0-1. Just the third appearance this season for Zahetner. As I said, 0 for 2. 2 strikeouts on her line so far this season. Here's the 0-1. Gets a hold of that one. Gets into the gap. That's going to land, and that's a game-winning pinch hit RBI for Addison Zahetner. How about that from the freshman, playing in just her third ball game of the season? Gets her first hit and ends the ball game. 12-2 our final. Zahetner gets a nice ovation from her teammates. And what an interesting contest. It was very much in play entering the bottom of the sixth. And the Sailors go ahead and rip off 8 runs and end this one early. Final score of 12-2. We're going to step aside here. We'll come back with all the post-game coverage, the numbers, the final statistics right here on the post-game show. Stay tuned. You're listening to Waterloo Columbus Softball on 1650 The Fan. Welcome to the Waterloo Columbus Softball post-game show here on 1650 The Fan. Very interesting ball game here tonight as a 4-2 contest going into the bottom of the sixth. Sailors go ahead and rip off 8 runs in the inning, and they get the win by a final of 12-2. Let's go ahead and look at the final numbers from tonight's game. First, for the victorious Sailors, they scored 12 runs on 11 hits. Just 1 error came back in the first inning. Sailors left just 1 runner on base. Aplington-Parkersburg scored 2 runs on 6 hits, no errors. They left 7 runners on base. Taking a look at tonight's pitchers, the win is going to go to Micah Bromley, the freshman, making the start, went 5 2/3 innings, allowed 6 hits with 2 runs. Both were earned, 2 walks and 4 strikeouts. She gets the win here tonight. Bromley now 2-0 on the season. Haley Frost came in relief, was set up for a save situation, but that was certainly not needed after the 8 runs put across in the bottom of the sixth. Frost goes just 1/3 of an inning, gets the out, and that was the totality of her appearance in tonight's ball game. For Aplington-Parkersburg, the loss is going to go to the starter, Ada Switzer. She goes 5 innings, gives up 5 hits, 7 runs, 6 were earned, 4 walks, and no strikeouts. For the freshman pitcher, Ada Switzer, she gets the loss. Her record on the season now goes to 0-3. Libby Jansen pitched 2/3 of an inning of relief. She gave up 6 hits, 5 runs, all were earned, and the 5th and final run ended the ball game. Looking at the by-inning breakdown of tonight's contest, Columbus scored 2 runs in the bottom of the second to take the 2-0 lead. They extended that lead to 4-0 after 2 runs in the bottom of the fourth. The Falcons cut that in half in the top half of the fifth. They made it a 4-2 ball game after they put 2 across. Then, of course, in the bottom half of the sixth, the Sailors put across 8 runs, and they win it by a final of 12-2 in 6 innings here in Waterloo. Looking at the offensive numbers for both sides, first for Columbus, they managed 11 hits, the majority of which came in that 6th inning. Only 1 extra base hit, but it was a big one. Ella Smith with her first career home run back in the 2nd inning that put Waterloo Columbus on the board. Looking at Aplington-Parkersburg, they had just 1 extra base hit as well. It came in the 1st inning. Third batter of the contest, Ada Switzer, had a double. Did not allow a run, though, and the Falcons managed just 2 runs the rest of the way. So 6 hits from the Falcons, 11 from the Sailors. Waterloo Columbus wins this one in 6 innings by a final of 12-2. Before we sign off here tonight, I have to give a big thank you to all of our great sponsors that make broadcasts like this possible. Could not do this without Community Buick GMC, Electronic Engineering, Air Services, CDFS Financial Strategies, and the Waterloo Columbus Booster Club. Thanks so much to those who support local broadcasts of Columbus baseball and softball right here on 1650 The Fan. That's going to do it for tonight's broadcast. Thanks so much to everybody for choosing to tune in and listen in to coverage of Sailor softball. I'll be back on the air on Thursday, making my way over to Denver when the Waterloo Columbus baseball team hits the road to take on the Denver Cyclones. So one more time, our final score tonight, Columbus wins it in 6 innings by a final of 12-2. For my producer, Angie Sturm, I'm David Warrington saying good night from Waterloo.